Alrighty, everybody, this is the web news, and we're gonna flip the script a little bit. So, if you ever listen to our main line episodes that come out on Tuesdays, sometimes we'll do what's called a blind episode, where one of us prepares the show notes and therefore the topic kind of in secret. And I did the same thing here today. Now, it's still the short form episode. This isn't going to be some long form thing, but I didn't want Mike to think about this. I wanted his answers right off the top of his head because we've been talking a lot about AI and we're going to be talking about AI again today, but we've been talking a lot about the issues around AI. So there's lots of concerns and disparity around AI, and rightfully, people are concerned about electricity usage being replaced, obviously, just automation kind of thing, the ethics around the AI learning from people's art and their content and other things like that. But there must be some positive things to do with AI as well, right? If we just think about it from the creative stance, AI used to be something that we dreamed of as kids and was shown in numerous cartoons and various sci-fi programs and many other creative glimpses, whether that be posters or other things. We saw glimpses of what AI may be in the future, what our sci-fi future would be in the future, right? And so the future is now, effectively. Even in the original Star Trek series from the 1960s, computers were often shown as mostly a voice controlled AI interface, where Spock specifically would say, computer, this to this, run these numbers, and it would say chances of success 20% or whatever the case is. They wouldn't be interacting with a screen and Excel, running all these numbers, running all these like percentages and all this other nonsense. So I want to drop the disparity today. And what I want to do is I want to look through some rose colored glasses intentionally for this week's prompt slash questions, and I'd like to tackle these things with a sort of utopian view. So I don't want to be dwelling on the, it'd be good if it did this, but then everyone's going to get fired. I just want to take a little bit of a positive look at it for the sake of today's conversation. So here's a couple of questions that I have prepared. First one: without considering drawbacks, what is something that you're hopeful for with AI in the future?
Mm. Okay. So I'm going to dive right into that one. There's a lot. I would say I'm more on the optimistic side than the negative side of AI in general. So I don't think I'm like an AI doomer. I can't remember what the two sides of the coin are, but there are two sides of the coin where there's people that are AI doomers, and AI optimists. I think I lean towards optimism versus doom just for my own sanity, maybe. But there's a lot that I want AI to start doing. So the number one thing for me, and this is something that is imminent future, like potentially today it could happen if with the right tools or tomorrow or whenever the next thing comes out. We've talked about this a couple times. I hate doing bookkeeping things for our business and for my own like finances. I want AI to take that over for me. So be able to go into browsers and download all my invoices, put them all and match them all into the QuickBooks, go into my bank account and match everything up from there. Book my budgeting for me, right? Just keep an eye on my budget and tell me what I'm doing wrong in certain cases. Figure out what those tricky transactions are somehow. I don't know how it would do that, but there's sometimes the transaction from a bank comes in really clean and you know exactly what it is. And sometimes it's a bunch of gobbledygook numbers and letters and you're just like, okay, what the hell was that? And the only way I've been able to figure that out is to go through all the services and stuff like that and try to match them up. So it could probably do something like that as well. So just handling bookkeeping, I think, is the number one thing that I'm looking forward to in the immediate future. I want to say there's plenty of things I'm looking forward to in the future, but I want to start this from the immediate side of things. Matt, what about you? Is there anything in the immediate future that you're particularly looking forward to?
My view is a little more philosophical. I actually have a second question here, which you've also answered because I think they meld. So I'll just read that second question right now, just to set the tone. So my second question was: is there something that you want AI to do for you? So you've answered that with the answer to the first question, or something that you'd AI to be capable of. And so, like, my answer comes more from that second part of that second question, which is, so I want AI to take the chores out of our lives, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, that's laziness," and things like that. And I heard that a bunch and haven't heard it in a little while myself, but I've heard it a bunch when smart lights first came out, where it would be like you just ask your voice assistant to turn off and on your lights, turn off and on your TV, and things like that. I heard, "Oh, why can't you just get up and hit the switch? Why this and that?" And it's less about being lazy. It's how many calories, if we really want to get into this, like how many calories am I really saving by going over and hitting the light switch, right? Why aren't we still lighting candles? Candles work for light. Like, why aren't we like going and making the wax and stuff? We can have this argument forever. Why aren't we using horse-drawn carriages and having multi-day journeys to towns instead of just a quick jaunt over 10 minutes or something like that, right? Like, why aren't we doing that? Why don't we do that? And I think like a big thing for me is that humans have a lot of motivations and so they want to do stuff. So for example, like something as simple as like it's the end of a golf round and you like want to total your scores. It'd be just cool if something totaled your scores. Would anyone say, "Oh, you're so lazy," right? But then, and some will actually. Some will say you should do it. Like I use a calculator to do it, and other people will be like, "Oh, you should just learn arithmetic and things like that." And I understand, and I do value the idea behind like, exercising your mind and doing things, but we're like what I'm hoping AI does is allows us to like for lack of a better way to say it, transcend some of these like daily things. Something that's a daily thing is like we have pets, like humans have pets, like cats and dogs and things. There's automatic feeders, there's automatic watering things for pets. If I see that in someone's house, I don't go like, this is the laziest person ever. Go over to the bin, get the scoop, and scoop it in. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a conversation when those things had first come out. Like to me, it's just like we're taking the mundane out of our lives, and that's good. Not now, that's not to say that we should grow, and I think this is probably a side effect, which is a little unfortunate, is we may grow to become lazy or whatever. But again, for the sake of this episode, I want to look through this with rose-colored glasses and say, look how much time you're freeing up. Wouldn't it be nice if I woke up via a smart alarm, walked into the kitchen, already had my coffee ready, had a coffee, the computer or whatever it is tells me, hey, you need to leave by this time. You hop in the car, and whether I drive or the car drives you, whatever, it's probably going to be a preference thing. And so the car drives you to work, and then that's it. And that's your morning, for example, rather than you running around worrying about, oh my God, like we don't have enough coffee and having all this chaos. It's like, why are we not taking the mundane out of our lives? And the thing is, too, is just think about back in the day, like way back in the day, something as simple to us as laundry used to be all done by hand, and we wring things out and things like that to dry them. Those days are gone. Like we made like washing machines, we made dryers, and then we've since made them smart to some extent. I don't have a smart one myself, so I can't talk directly to that. But my point is, have you have a laundry machine and a dryer, no one in the modern day is going to say you're lazy. Because I don't hold a horse in my garage, I have a car in my garage. No one's going to say I'm lazy. And so to me, it's like I want there to be like a real true like revolution, I think, in the mundane being taken out of our lives. Like the things that are just even things we don't even think of, right? Like the things that are just chores. Like me totaling the golf score at the end of a round is a small example, but I think it's actually a solid example because me as the human played the round of golf, we wrote down the scores, and now I want to know the score. There's no like life lesson amazing value in doing the arithmetic or using a calculator in getting the score. I'm not going to become a math aficionado because I did that. So to me, I think it's a lot of the mundane stuff, and that'll clear us up to continue to do things that we're motivated to do. Like it basically, it's like it's clearing the road for our motivations. Is ultimately what I feel like our tools are doing for us. You even see this in the power tool market or what have you, right? Where like people are learning to like with YouTube and things like that are learning to use power tools safely, and then they do DIY projects. Now, obviously to varying degrees of success, and you got to be careful because they are still dangerous and things. However, it takes the mystery. It takes like some of the mystery out of, oh my God, I have to go and find like a contractor or something like that to either do this or teach me, and they'll likely not teach me. They'll probably just want to do the job and have themselves be paid. And so our technology pre AI, and I'm hoping into AI, is like really filling in the gaps. Because one of the big things and I'll let you talk after this, but one of the main things about our technology is like it we are the ones that were always, for the most part, controlling it. And we could do some things like cron jobs are a famous thing where there's some automation, right? Oh, back up this database, this and that. But at the end of the day, like what those cron jobs are really doing for the most part in a basic form is just running commands. All we're saying is, hey, computer, instead of me typing in backup database, you type in backup database at 6 p.m. because I'm not going to be around at 6 p.m. That's all basically we're doing, right? But the thoughts of we need a database backup and it should be done at 6 p.m. come from us. So the thought process was never there. And to me, this is the next step. This is like cron jobs plus, if you will, where like this machine, like this AI might have the intelligence to say, Matt usually does big changes on Wednesdays. It's Tuesday night. 6 p.m. is after hours. Let me take a backup of that.
Yeah, I think the big thing that you and I align on, and what I was going to say as my next point as well, is I wanted to be able to do my laundry. That was my next thing, and that was going to lead to the exact same kind of tangent that you just went on. Like the more the more that like humanity has progressed, the more we've been able to automate the mundane. We're not going out and towing a feet to in a feet, like trying to fight for survival for 12 hours a day anymore. We're doing other things with that time now,
Right.
right? Like a lot of us are being very productive with that time and developing AI systems that now do more stuff. And like without that ability for people to spend more time doing harder things, we would have never gotten to this place. So it's inevitable in my eyes for more and more of that to be progressively automated. And that's partly where AI will come into play, but partly like where just evolution of technology will come. And the laziness argument is interesting, but unless you're actually not doing anything with that time that's productive and you're just sitting at home and gaming 12 hours a day and letting your laundry bot do your laundry, it's a dumb argument because it's very person to person. Like a lot of people will maybe take advantage of it and not do anything, and then I don't know how they're going to survive. You still need money to survive, but a lot of people will take that time and invest it into a lot of productive tasks and have the ability to spend more time doing the more fun stuff as well. Like getting maybe the inevitability is a better work life balance. I think this is a rose colored glass episode, so ideally, that would be the best case scenario where we just have way more work-life balance, where you can actually spend the exact amount of time that you would spend at work at home doing fun stuff with your kids and stuff like that, and with your friends or with your family. So I 100% agree on that point. I think we're the problem why I said like inevitability or like what's close is that I really think we're really far away from the menial tasks being automated due to the limitations of the robotic side of things. Because I think that's going to be the next part, or not the next part, but the final part. There's probably going to be some intermediary steps, right? There's going to be more computer vision in your glasses and stuff like that. Doesn't require robotics. That will be able to solve some menial task, like you're saying, the scorecard calculations, stuff like that. There will be an intermediary step that won't involve it, but I think the robotic side, a lot of companies are working on it right now because everyone knows it's probably like $1 trillion industry. I think we're at least a decade away from it being anywhere usable by a common person, like
Well,
not
near
a
affordable as well, right?
yeah, not like a multimillionaire, but like someone that's just like a wealthy middle class person. So I think a decade is generous to say where we're at with the robotic side of things, but they are working on it, right? There already is demos of a bot sorting laundry that was trained on natural vision and with an LLM. Like there's already these things being integrated into a bot, and it's just not like it's a demo. Like it's not anywhere close to being ready for any sort of actual consumerized process. Also, that's the thing that I'm probably one of the most excited for because like it's weird that we went the route of solving some of the hardest things first. The vision before was like we would solve the easy stuff, which is laundry and stuff like that. Now, easy as in like easy for us to do, like it doesn't require brain power. And we would then have more time to do the hard stuff, which is programming and art and stuff like that and writing. And instead, we went the other way where we started like hard solving the programming stuff, the hard stuff, and leaving the easy stuff for us to do. So at the moment, like again, if it wasn't a rose color glass episode, we would talk about that contract, like the contrast there and how that's a little bit actually dystopian of this situation. But I think it is a natural progression because the robotic stuff is so much more complicated. And this helps it, but it is.
You can look at it from the other side, though. You can look at it from think about someone who's non-technical and how many things in life. We just recorded an episode, a full-length episode. It'll be out in a couple of weeks about how you can like recession proof yourself. And it's like from the perspective of a web developer and like how you could mitigate the effects of a recession potentially. But the reason why we can do that is because we are technically savvy. And one of the things that we mentioned in that episode is that during a recession, there's a high chance that a lot of people will immediately be laid off. And then we'll immediately be like, okay, I'm going to start applying to jobs, but how do I make money online? And then there may be a demand grow, or there may be like a bit of a demand growth, excuse me, in the say, I don't know what you'd call this, the personal segment where people are trying to start blogs and things like that. And then we help them with that. Because now the reason why I mention that is because there's so many things now that are digital, that are like things that you want to do digitally or things that people want to do digitally, that to us, if we don't understand it, we know how to learn to understand it. Like we know where to go, we know what to look for, we know how to be like, you know what, let me take a look at this. I know there's a database involved here. Like I understand the general computational like tasks that are available. I understand those. The big issue actually comes in with people that are like non-techies. Everything's a black box to them. They don't see anything. Like they don't understand coding. They don't understand any of this stuff. They don't even know if coding's required. I've heard people talk about coding as if it's like some like black magic. Because they have no idea what it does. They're, what do you mean by coding? What do you mean by this? And so to me, maybe you're saying it's dystopian in the idea of the rose-colored glasses. Like maybe it's dystopian to us as developers because our sort of like key to the black box is gone or is disappearing, and the black box is just going to be open. But to the general consumer, it's, oh my god, like this tech stuff isn't actually that hard. Think about something like cloud storage. Cloud storage, realistically speaking, wasn't consumerized for many years. SkyDrive and things were new when we were in college. But you could have your own cloud storage for probably a decade or more before that. Like, obviously, servers stored things and we could access them remotely and we had the internet. If you knew what was going on, if you understood that cloud storage, an oversimplification of cloud storage is a hard drive on that's connected to the internet, right? An oversimplification of that. You could do that. You could run your own server at home, have it run 24/7, have it be accessible. You access it from your phone via an FTP server, and there you go. Like you could have done that. You could have had cloud storage 10 years before. And then these consumerized products, SkyDrive, eventually OneDrive, Dropbox, all these other things, they eventually opened up the door. They opened up the door to eventually allow you to have cloud storage. This is
Yeah,
something
democratize it. They democratized it.
democratize it is the correct way to say it, right? And
Mhm.
so that's what's potentially happening here. Somebody is calling me nonstop. I'm just going to quickly mute this because it's literally nonstop and won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh my god! Actually, I mean, talk about AI. I had an AI bot call me 6 times in a row because it broke, and it kept telling me there was an internet outage, but I was on my own internet, and it kept saying, "There's an internet outage in your area. There's an internet." It's like, okay, I've answered the first. Anyway, another thing, another tough for another day, another tangent. But
Well, it's not even a tangent though, because that is part of the AI revolution kind of thing. Not maybe directly related to LLMs, but it is a different form of AI. Like I don't answer calls that aren't named calls, if that makes sense.
hmm,
Someone that's in my contact list. I will, or my daughter's daycare, whatever.
yeah,
If it says a name that I recognize, I'll answer it. And sometimes it is a scammer. But regardless, those are the only calls I answer right now. I just send them all through call screening, through like Samsung. And Pixel has it. I believe the iPhone has it now. Every major brand has call screening now. So let the bots talk to each other.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just don't pick up the phone. Yeah, and it's I like that kind of stuff. Like that stuff, like optimistically, I love all of the little things that have been added that make my life easier. I don't have to worry about spam calls. I don't have to worry about, again, the bookkeeping thing is just around the corner. Like I've almost got it. Like last year's taxes, I did 70%. No, I think I got ChatGPT and some other AI tools to do about like 70% of the bookkeeping, and then I had to do the other 30. I think this year I can get to 90%, maybe more. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't gotten around to starting the full bookkeeping process for the year yet, but I'm excited for those little things. Like I little.
Like I had like my like I have that thing on, but it's not, there's call screening, but it's not on automatic. You have to click call assist or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then I
no.
have the spam protection where it'll say potential fraud, and I just don't even interact with those or whatever.
Mhm.
That saves me a ton of time. Like during COVID, I was receiving, and this is legitimate, I'm actually not kidding, I was receiving up to 12 spam calls a day.
Yeah.
Call, okay, call, okay, call. It's holy crap. And it would only be during my waking hours. So it's like up to 2 calls an hour, depending on, because obviously it would space it out. It'd be like a couple hours go by, nothing happens. And all of a sudden it's a call, three different, it's my God. Like I can't just keep being like, hello, this is Amazon. Oh my God. And so like that, like, I even remember the voice, right? So it's, this is your captain speaking.
Oh, that's good.
Holy. So like you're 100% right. AI, that's part of it, is like AI is going to start screening that type of stuff. And like right now, if you put on do not disturb or whatever, depending on your phone or into your settings, people can just get around that right? By calling 3 times quickly. An AI might be able to screen that even further and be like, "Hey, this is 3 calls from a potential spam number, so don't let them through."
Mhm.
Like, just put it in the logs and let the user know that this person called or what have you, or maybe go to voicemail or what have you. But let's not constantly. Meanwhile, like the computer now, or that thought process now, is very much just like a number, right? Where it's if number calls 3 times, let them through. And like there's no intelligence there. It's like we have a predefined intelligence there that is going to fix that or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think overall, again, I'm excited. I'm definitely on the optimist side. I don't think that we can really think too negatively all the time about this stuff because it could go down in the doom gloom really quickly. There's not a lot that we as individuals can do to stop it right now, especially because it's not just like one or two companies now. There's open source models all over the place. Like it's the whole AI aspect has been democratized. And that means that anyone can get their hands on it to a certain degree and do something with it. So the cat's out of the bag. It's important to find the positives and be aware of where the negatives could go, obviously. But I think this was good. I think it's good to have these kinds of check-ins where we just talk about, hey, what's good about it? What are we actually excited about?
And there's the one thing I did want to mention to you as well. And you mentioned the robotics. You could take a look at that from the other side as well, which is, and I actually do this. So yeah, there's something that is not available. There's a hole in the availability, let's say, of a robot doing my laundry for me, 100%. However, while I'm putting the laundry in the machine, I can have, and I have done this, I can have my tablet open with ChatGPT in advanced voice mode, and I can stage the work that I'm about to do. Because, like, normally what I'll do is I'll throw stuff in the laundry, get to work. That's just what I do. Now, it's unstaged. And what I mean by unstaged is I don't know, like, my status, right? Like my emails and this and that. So, for example, I actually did this recently. I was doing my laundry, and then I was also organizing something for like a Kijiji sale, which is like Craigslist in Canada. And what I had was quite literally my phone or my tablet with me in the advanced voice mode. And I created the show notes, not fully. I created the show notes that we were going to be recording. I can't remember if it was later that day or like a day after or something, but like the show notes that were coming up for me. I created those show notes and I did 3 or 4 revisions while I was doing the laundry and stuff. I was just having a conversation with ChatGPT. That's why that was that one day I think I remember I told you, man, you really need to try this voice mode. Because I
Mhm.
went through and I was like, oh, like you didn't. There was literally times where it was very human where I was like, hey, you mentioned that you added these 6 things, but I really think we need a 7th here. This is what I'm trying to capture. And maybe that 5th one should go away since we're trying to capture it in this other segment and things. And it's, oh, that's a good idea. Let's try to like move it around. Like, how does this sound and things like that. I created the full draft, so that's staged work now. So now it's like I get to my desk and I'm not starting at a blank Notion page or like our templated Notion page. I'm now taking that big old thing that's cloud synced from the tablet slash phone to the computer. And I'm able to like go in, I copy paste it into our template, and then I obviously humanize it. Like I change a bunch of stuff, I add some things, and then the bot, like ChatGPT, in this particular conversation I was having, like added stuff that said like literally fill in the blank here, like for me, kind of thing. But the point is that is like another way to approach it. The robotics aren't available, but I'm able to do the digital part that we know how to do while I'm doing the part that the robotics fill in. So I'm still
Yeah.
getting, if we break everything down to time units, I'm still saving time units at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. There's tons you could do in those kinds of workflows now too, where you can have it actually perform stuff for you. With agents, it can have access to your inbox. You can actually do like not just staging work, but actual work in those events. Like people will do a part of their day from their commute now just by talking to these things. So that's super cool. I haven't gotten there yet. I do use advanced voice mode on ChatGPT quite a bit. I like it. But I think the next steps for me is to figure out where I can put even more productivity, make my days even better, and make it easier for me to do certain things that I don't want to do. And overall, like some really cool stuff. I'm curious to see what the audience uses
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure there's a million different ways that this can be used in a really cool, very productive setting. There's probably ways that people tried and failed horribly. Maybe we'll have one of these web news on that where it's like completely fallen short
Sure.
after we go through and try a bunch. But yeah, if you out there at the audience want to drop a comment on the YouTube video or just give us a shout on any of the socials at HTML Everything on X, HTML, things on pretty much all the rest of them.
And
Let us
Spotify
know.
comments, I monitor that quite a lot.
Yeah, those as well. Awesome. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think this was just something I wanted to do different, and I didn't want to like. Again, it was a blind episode. I didn't want you to like really think and have these like deep thoughts. It's just off the top of your head. What's something good about AI right now? And it's something that instead of you like having to fish for it and like specifically find things that are perfect, it's let's look through it with rose-colored glasses because there's problems with every single thing we said today, 100%. But there's also
Yep.
benefits that we've described to happen today. So again, the audience, let us know what's going on. This is, I propose, Mike, unless you have anything else to add, this is the conclusion of the web news.
There we go.
So that's it. Hopefully you like
Yeah.
this. We don't have that's the whole point. This is an
Yeah.
impromptu conversation. We don't have a formal intro, outro, and we're signing off later.
Goodbye.